The objective of AIPES is to bring together 100 students from the United States, from South America, Europe, the Middle East, and other parts of Northern Africa as well. We bring them together here in Prague for 3 weeks, and the idea is to really challenge the students to come from all over the world to learn about each other and also to get them out of their own home environments to where they can meet people one-on-one and have real conversations. Our academic program here in Prague is conflict management with the idea to bring people together to remove the emotional side out of their conflict and see what's really going on.
What is the nature of conflict in the 21st century, and what does changes in conflict in the 21st century mean for conflict management?
The biggest challenge of teaching a diverse international student body is a lot of the students come from countries where there are conflicts raging at the moment. The benefit of this class is opportunity for dialogue, having them to speak about their respective conflicts. The students teach their fellow students about the conflicts raging in their home countries. Once having them speak about their conflicts, I, as instructor of conflict management, try to get the students to find their common ground. That while they seem like they might have polarizing viewpoints or opposing viewpoints, conflict management tries to instruct the students to see what they have in common, that their differences aren't so great, that often the common interest of both parties or the societies they come from is to live in peace and security.
Students in the AIPES program come from all over the world, and more than anything else, the thing that strikes me is that these kids are willing to give up 3-4 weeks of their summer to come and listen to lectures, to hear diverse viewpoints, to be challenged in their way of thinking. So that's a tremendous responsibility because these students have given a lot to come here, and it's important for us as their teachers to give them the best that we can.
There was UN conference, and Secretary General of the United Nations came, many others, and I was invited to be speaker at that conference together with several
in front of 100 students coming from 35 countries. It is not enough just to share knowledge. You have to be exposed and dig much deeper into what you lived through or what you believe in, because young people are asking questions from any direction. They are testing not only your knowledge but your faith, belief system.
The great challenge of the 21st century cannot be met without global higher education, and more precisely, liberal arts higher education. Today, in light of the fact that people are feeling more and more exhausted about the prospects for the future, I'm increasingly focusing on Adam Smith because he's talked about an open-ended world and a series of competing wagers about the future that we cannot understand. And so I want to encourage my students to think in those terms about the future they will build. I want to give them ideas which give them hope and also, I think as importantly, give them a sense of what their responsibility is in the world today.
Must fight against ISIS.
So if they're really engaged with peace in Iraq, to help the situation and to prevent people from being killed.
My part of the course is called What is the Good Society? The course is not really about society, it's about the individual as a member of society. The purpose of the course is to bring people to understand that if they want to make a better world, they have to take part in the world and do what they can to make it better.
I hope students can see that conflict management is not just about international conflicts or violent conflicts, that conflict management can be used into their interpersonal relationships, that conflict management can be a tool they can use to become more effective leaders. And hopefully once they become more effective leaders, they could serve as agents to manage and mitigate conflicts.
There are two really important lessons for students to get out of the sort of economics that I teach. The first is a sense of humility, that the world is incredibly complex. Improving the world is an incredibly delicate and difficult process. We don't always understand why things are, and we need to study and we need to think really hard about why things are the way they are before we can try and change things for the better. The second is the sense in which economics teaches us that human beings are assets, they aren't liabilities. To bring people from diverse cultures together, to teach them a subject that emphasizes the possibilities for human cooperation is, I hope, an inspiration to them to look out in the world and look for other ways to cooperate with their fellow human beings rather than other reasons to come into conflict with them.
Come from the really ancient country of the world?
Cultural exchange is very important. I think it just helps out with education. The AIPES Institute has been in Prague since 1993. We have a partnership with Charles University. Students at the end of the program can earn academic credit from Charles University. They also enter into an alumni network of over 14,000 people worldwide. People need to go where the jobs are, so oftentimes they leave their own home countries and their families to go find a better opportunity, and we want to put them in touch together.
But one thing that I thought was very valuable was stepping out of my comfort zone. Being with so many people for 3.5 weeks forces you to really share your experiences.
I believe that the students mostly bring home with them from this program the network and the friends which they make here, the understanding of different cultures, and also the different point of view on the studies and on the current situation which is brought by the professors from the United States or from Czech Republic.
The most rewarding thing about teaching these students is that no matter how diverse their backgrounds are, every group of TFAS students I've worked with has really come together as a community at the end of their time together. It forges connections and friendships that last for their whole lives. Watching those relationships unfold, watching those connections get formed is an incredibly rewarding experience that I treasure a great deal.
AIPES is classical type of program which probably only Americans can invent, because Americans believe in pluralism, plurality and individualism. This is what is making this AIPES summer school rather fascinating exercise for me.